Hello everyone. This is Jana from the Endless Blue podcast. We explore the benefits of diving into the ocean and into yourself. Let's rethink how we deal with ourselves and our existence. Hello, good morning everyone. Here's Jana from the Endless Blue podcast. So first of all, I would like you to take a moment to breathe. So take a deep inhale and exhale and let go of everything what you don't need right now. One more time, inhale through the nose. And exhale every tension you got. And it doesn't matter if it's in the body or in the mind. And the last one. Inhale through the nose. And exhale through the mouth. So, today I would like to talk to you about how to deal with fear. And if you have followed me before, you probably know that that's a big part of my story. And maybe I go just back a little bit to let you know who I was and who I have become since I started or reconnected with the ocean and myself. So I'm German. I have German parents who decided to go to Greece in the late 80s. So like 89, I was born in 87, and opened a water sports station. So I was 1 year old and I was always sitting on a desk on the water sports station. Actually grew up like right next to the beach, sitting on the beach all day long. And yeah, it was really like dream life. My parents had a water sports station and I could like just grow up there. Problem was they didn't get very good along with each other, so they separated. And my mom tried it a little bit alone, but she couldn't manage, so she sold the station. It was really a dreamy station with everything you can imagine, like surfboards, like windsurfing. It was in Greece, okay? Not surfing regular like we do in Portugal, but windsurfing. We had catamarans, we had jet skis, we had a motorboat, we had, snorkeling stuff, canoes. So it was really quite a big station. And so, I don't know exactly how old I was when she sold it, but probably it was 5. I don't know. Anyway, I was very small when she sold it, so I could not basically actually do something. Like my bigger brother, he's 3 years older, and he learned to water ski, and he had his own surfboard, which my dad made for him. And so, he really could start with it. I just was sitting there as a baby and just seeing it. But anyway, after my mom tried it alone for a time, I still remember I could like go after school and snorkel and take a canoe, which I love to do. And we were in a big hotel complex where it was like a small paradise for us because, like I told you, I have another older brother. I have a younger one as well, but an older one. I also have a younger sister, but most connected to my brothers because I grew up with them. And our hotel was like our playground. And so even the water sports station was then later on sold. I was like always connected to the water. I was swimming a lot, actually more diving because I learned first to dive and then to swim. And we were like a lot in trees at home. I loved to climb up the trees with my older brother and slide them down. So I was really an adventurous kid because I passed a lot of time with my bigger brother, and he was really adventurous. So bicycle, I hated skirts, so I was always like really adventurous on a trip with him. And I had a really cool childhood, apart from the divorce from my parents, which was pretty hard because my dad left. I was really connected to nature, and I remember having that good sensation of safety being out there. I remember climbing up a tree and I always knew which were my limits and which weren't my limits. So, being that child growing up in nature and a lot of time in the water, yeah, I came to Germany when I was 11. And yeah, it was actually for economical reasons. I mean, my mom was alone with us, so it was really hard for her to raise us alone in Greece. So she had to go back to her parents' house. And so we came back to Germany when I was 11. And I was also in a Greek school, so my Greek was much better than my German. And yeah, and in Germany, I don't know what happened. I saw a lot of shark movies, and I created that absurd but really strong fear from sharks. And it was very, very heavy. So it was like, if I, in the end, if I would see a shark in a newspaper, I would like get heart racing, like, like panic attack. And I would like throw the newspaper away. Or if there was a picture of a shark in the subway, I couldn't look at it. And I think I built like a big wall over the ocean. And I don't know, but maybe it was kind of a self-protection because I had that kind of super happy childhood, and I came to Germany. It was really bad because I didn't adapt very well. My older brother adapted really well, but for me it was really hard. Kids were like bullying me, "You're a foreigner," which was really funny. Finally coming back to Germany, and they said, "You're a foreigner." So I didn't adapt very well. Anyway, so I really disconnected from the ocean. And I also remember in my 20s, a friend told me, "Hey, let's go for a surf retreat." And I told her, no, I can't. I'm afraid of sharks. And I remember, though, there were a couple of times where I was at the ocean and like snorkeling on Seychelles a little bit. And then a guide also took me to show me some fish, and I figured out it was really baby sharks, which was like 30 centimeters long. But I was like, oh my God. But I remember these moments where I was in the ocean and I was like, oh, okay. But as soon as I came back, I never like, pursued anything. I was like, I put my toe inside and I get out again. Or I went to Colombia for a trip and we went with a group to snorkel, but it was like very, very, how can I say you, this fear was very profound that gonna be somewhere and I shouldn't be there. Or like, yeah, I shouldn't be there. And so it was a really long time, like a big thing for me, this like, how could I have been this child of growing up in the ocean and then being so disconnected? And it was just like, actually, I came to Lisbon to make a master in photography. So I'm a photographer. I studied in Munich photography, and actually Tommy always wanted to make a master's. So we went to Portugal, to Lisbon. I went to the art university, to Belas Artes in Chiado, which is a really amazing university. And I thought I'm gonna reconnect to the ocean. And I told to my professor, okay, I have that wonderful project. I'm gonna reconnect to the ocean, with all that fear about the ocean and this super disconnectedness. I said, okay, I'm gonna make an amazing project about plastic and the ocean. She just told me so. No, Jana, look for something that's undiscovered still. And I was really upset. I was really angry because I was like, I had all made that research and I knew how it looked like, and I was really like super proud about my projects. She just told me like, no, you're not gonna do that. So yeah, and so I started to research. Actually, I started to research about everything what has to do with the ocean. And in art university, it's like theoretically and practically. So your practical project has to be aligned with the theoretical one. And so I started to search about, philosophy, literature, history. I mean, you find the fear of the ocean in the Bible. You find the old cards of Olaus Magnus. These are like maps, really old maps, where the Seefahrer in German, the people driving the ships, the sailors, this one, sorry. So the sailors and were using, and you have like monsters on that map everywhere. So the fear of the ocean is very old and very profound. It's just like the unknown. There's a very famous quote from Burke, I think, is like, the human would rather take a certain fall than the unknown. And as the ocean is so big and so profound, and we can't control anything out there, it just has been, since ancient times, for a lot of people, a very scary place. I mean, there have been other cultures, like in Hawaii, you know, which were like surfing and like seeing it as something, you know, holy. But yeah, mostly in Europe was like a little bit different. So anyway, I'm there in the university. I'm researching everything. I started surfing. Actually, I started a little bit before because I had my mom was really sick. So that was the first time I started a surf course. It was like a year prior to this, because I thought, oh my God, I'm going to be afraid of the ocean all the time, and then you're going to die something like cancer. And so, yeah, we went to make our first surf course before. But that was with a group and stuff in clear waters. And anyway, I continued my trying to surf in Portugal. And I remember just sitting there on the ocean, going out there, paddling in, crying, going back to the ocean, going back to the beach. And so it was like an on and off hopping journey, you know? So I tried scuba diving for the first time, and I remember I'm going there, and oh my God, I was so fucking scared. I was sitting on the boat and I was hyperventilating. And yeah, and so meanwhile, I'm researching scuba diving, trying to surf. One day is good when the visibility is clear, when the sun is shining. The other day, you know, when it's rainy or cloudy and the waves get a bit bigger, I get panic attack because I don't see what's underneath. So like this. So I'm trying, getting pushed back, but I don't get like confidence at all, you know? And always that panic inside of me, that fear. I'm paddling out, my heart is pumping. So really like, and I don't get it because I feel like so disconnected. I feel like that can't be. Why is that like that? I've been a girl from the ocean and I'm just fucking scared. And yeah, so I'm in the university and I'm researching, and I remember I make my first project in the university, and what was it? That was with Camito, and it was pretty good because I had that theoretical research and everything, and she found it pretty interesting because I researched like everything what has to do with fear and the history and philosophy, and yeah, it was pretty nice. Second semester, I have another tutor, and I continue my research about the ocean. And yeah, I don't know what to photograph. I'm completely lost. And like, these are my photographs. So I photograph like things from the ocean, but all in a different style. The photos don't match each other and it's complete chaos. And I have the presentation, and my professor just says me, I'm so sorry, but no, she doesn't say I'm sorry. She says, yeah, your photographs just look like from 10 different photographers. So, I mean, that's really bad. No, as a photographer, you have no signature. So yeah, I'm really upset. And she was a really harsh professor. She's really good. She's a famous artist, but she was really harsh. A lot of my classmates also left after her critiques. I remember after her critiques sitting on the beach and crying and saying, I'm never going to find out what to do. Not even with the ocean, not even with myself, because at that moment with photography I was also pretty lost. So I really didn't know how to continue with photography. It was like upsetting me, or was like boring. I didn't find any sense in it. And so yeah. And one day I have that underwater case, and I remember I'm going in the water, just in the beach in Carcavelos. It's like the first beach close to Lisbon, and taking some photos like from the waves underwater. Just standing there at the shore and doing them black and white or dark blue. And I bring them back to her, and she said, oh, look, that's something interesting. And I remember, oh, that was releasing. Okay, I'm one step ahead from where I've been. And yeah, and so I continue researching, I continue reading, I continue looking for everything which is related to the ocean, good and bad, movies, The Fish People, which I love, which is on Netflix, about different people who are connected with the ocean. And one day I'm on Google or wherever, and I find that video from a freediver. And I remember like looking at that and like, oh my God, that's what I did as a kid. I was always diving as a kid. That's it. And then I researched where the video was from, and it was from a freediving school, which is called Spot Freedive, from Mario Mafalda. There, if you are in Lisbon and want to learn to freedive, make sure you're going to check them out. So I went to them with, I remember, my last money. I had an online job when I came to Portugal to study, but then the company crashed, so it was really hard to study. Anyway, and then I had my last money and I paid that beginner course. And I remember first day, theory, we go to the pool, I learn to breathe. And then we go to the water and I hold my breath after the breathing. And I remember after a time, I was just like, fuck, I don't have to breathe. And I remember I'm just getting scared because I don't have to breathe. And so I just go up. And it's like, oh my God, I don't have to breathe. And it was like 2 minutes 20 or something. And I was like, wow, okay, that was amazing. And anyway, next day we are very close to shore. The water was pretty clear, especially for Portugal. So we were a lot of people in the group. So I didn't feel scared. It was, 3 meters, very clear water, great group. And I could dive and I felt quite comfortable, I remember. But the second day, where we had to make, in that time, AIDA had like -15 to get the AIDA 2 certificate. We had to make -15 meters. And I remember the guy is going in the water and he just says, fuck people, that's so scary. And so you can imagine myself as being like so scared and had a good day and like, oh no, now we're back again. And I just remember Mafalda saying to everyone, be still, don't talk, I'm gonna all make you dive. And it was really the most terrible day in Portugal. Perfect Portugal day, like on the harsh days. We had like 2.5, 3 meters visibility. It was really dark, really, really dark waters, green water, probably the water from the river. And it was a really bad day. And I just remember, yeah, for me it was like, yeah, no chance, I thought. So I'm there breathing, going down 1-2 meters, going up again, the next one, 1-2 meters, up and down. So if you don't know, in freediving we have a buoy, and then we have a rope on which you can dive down to depth. You can pull yourself down on the rope with the hands, or you can fin up and down with your fins. So anyway, being there, like 1 hour passed. I didn't have for sure passed the 5 meters or something. And yeah, a lot of people didn't make it to the 15 meters, and some already are in the boat. And it's like, okay, now we are ending. And we were like some girls on the rope. And then, yeah, as our group got smaller, because some already get out of the water, there's coming a guy from the other buoy. And I see him diving down and deeper, and he disappears, and deeper and deeper and deeper, and he comes up and he made it. And it was for me so like, I don't know, like that inner voice which told me like, hey, you can do that too. So I took all my courage together. I made a good preparation. I really breathed. And yeah, and then with equalizing, going down, I made it. And I remember the second I see that tennis ball, the end of the rope had a tennis ball, which marked the 15 meters. I open my eyes and I hear that voice in myself and say, hey, you're pretty cool. And then I start to swim up, and I never will forget that image. I have an image of that though. I took that photo later. I see Mafalda in the light under the ocean. It was just like that most magic moment. And I swim up and felt like heaven. And it felt like, oh my God, yes, you're pretty cool. And that was so powerful for me that up from that, my whole master thesis was just about freediving. And yeah, I also forgot a very funny quote which Mafalda said when I told her, like, hey, I'm so scared. And she just said, no fear, that's no problem. We can work with that. So yeah, and it's like this, really, if you're scared about something, that's something you can really work with. And so up from there, I never went back again, and I continued my journey. And yeah, now I want to give you some practical tools how to deal with your fear, because I've tried actually different kind of ways to deal with fear, and I figured out there is a one more pleasant one and one harder one. So the first one was really I did a lot of visualization. I did a lot of dry work. And then as soon as the ocean opened, I would like make my dives. Like this, I went through my instructor course. I was like always ready. But it was a very mental preparation, which I think it's important. It's pretty important. But somehow, if you're just preparing yourself mentally, I sometimes feeling it's going somehow backwards. And so I don't want to get too deep into that because I think there's a better way to do it. And I want to focus on this one. So I have done coaching with Sarah Campbell. She was the first woman who dove under 100 meters on one single breath. And her only training was meditation. So meditation, good rest, and adaptation. So, and since ever then, I really changed my approach to diving and my approach to teaching, because it's just a, even though much softer way than I even learned before. And it's, I'm gonna give you one exercise, one for surfing and one for freediving. Because I really loved surfing, and I know of a lot of surfers out there in the community, and I think it's really helpful if you want to grow in your surfing. And so if you're a freediver, I do that with my beginners, and you have the buoy, and you have a rope, and you want to dive down. And I mean, this last season I was teaching in Portugal and in the Bavarian Alp Lakes, which are both really challenging conditions. Cold waters in Portugal, sometimes even strong currents. Luckily not so much, but we had strong currents some days, and then a lot of days also dark, bad visibility. So I would just suggest for you, make your breathe up. Breathe, make the body breathing, calm yourself down, take your full breath. And then you inhale, equalize your ears, and then you go down. And you go down only so much, and if that's only 1 meter, it's okay, until you feel like any tension in the body or in the mind. And then you stay there. You stay there and wait until that cessation goes, to make your body feel safe. And when you feel safe, you don't go deeper. You go up again, back to the surface. Next dive, you do exactly the same thing. You dive down and you go only so far until you feel uncomfortable anywhere, body, mind, and you stop until you feel safe. And then you go up again. So you see how different that is than like visualizing and just continuing mentally strong down there? Yeah, you can do that. I've done that. That works as well. But it's a much harsher way to grow than the other one. Is like you feel unsafe, but you give your body the permission to feel it safe. So, and you continue this as many times as you want until you get your own inner voice. That's, I think, what I did like in intuitively on the first day, which I told you I did the 15 meters, until my inner voice told me, now you gotta go. And I saw that so many times with people which are scared, which is normal in Portugal. I mean, you have days with visibility with 5 meters. I love Portugal, by the way. Yeah? You have amazing sea life, and it's raw, and you have a marine reserve and lots of fish. But it's rough. It's rough to dive, okay? But you give yourself the permission to be scared, to see the fear as something positive, which is there to protect you, and not as something negative. So you go down, you dive until you feel safe in your body, and then you come up again. And then you'll see one moment will come and you will naturally want to come deeper. And it doesn't have to be on the first day. It can be directly after the first dive. All people are different out there. But it's so important to start to listen to your own inner voice. And so the same one I want to tell you about surfing. If you go surf, like I told you, I think surfing was even harder for me than freediving. And I really love surfing. It's really still a challenge for me. And now this summer I'm not there, unluckily. But I'm making my freediving, which I'm really happy about. But I'll do a lot of open water swimming to keep my arms strong. So I'm not forgetting about surfing. I just have to focus on one thing and then the other. Focus important. But that's another podcast I'm going to make about. Anyway, so surfing, same thing. If you're scared, go in conditions where you feel comfortable as many times as you want. And you will see one day when you really give yourself the permission to feel safe in your body, go out, go in, feel safe, you will grow. You will grow for bigger waves, for bigger surf. And it's such a beautiful way to grow. It's not about pushing you through anything. It's about growing step by step. I remember asking Lena in my first movie how to deal with, how to overcome fear. And she said, that's totally the wrong question. It's not about overcoming fear. It's about working with it. And I think that's exactly it. You're going to work with it step by step. So everyone out there, I really hope for you. I could go on hours and hours, but I really hope for you that whatever you want to do out there, whatever it is, like for me, for example, I still want to surf better. Okay. So I'm going to go into a neutral perspective. So in yogic philosophy also we have the neutral mind, the positive mind, and the negative mind, which is really helpful. So the neutral mind is where you silence all the voices, where you're really connected with your inner being, with the superior, and so on. The negative mind is the one which protects you. So it's not negative, it's like protecting you. And the positive mind is the one which gets you up when things get hard. So what you want to do is to get all of them in balance. A lot of us have the negative mind, like I had, really out of balance. So it's getting overprotective, overreactive. Okay? And we can balance that with meditation and breathing. That's what I do every day. And I always also try to go to the neutral state of mind. The neutral is really where you say this angel and this devil stop talking. And you're just connected with yourself and see what's real and what's illusion. And then you're going to continue from there. And you have to really see where you are right just now and make baby steps in the right direction. And like I told you, I want to continue my surfing journey. I'm not on a wavy ocean this summer, but I will do something that I will get back to the waves. I'm good prepared physically. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I do a lot of open water swimming, crawling with my arms. I'm going to be in the ocean anyway. Breath hold I'll do all the time, so I don't have to focus on that. But I can do that, and then when I go back in the surf, I'm going to be physically strong. And this also translates to the mental part. The stronger you are physically, the stronger you will be mentally. The stronger you're mentally, the stronger you're physically, okay? It's all vice versa. So, everyone out there, whatever you want to do, think about it. Think about it really neutral. Like, not it would be you, like a third person. So, okay, she's scared about that. What she can do, which steps you can do just today to go in the right direction. Okay. And when you feel you go a little bit, stretch it, feel safe, go back again. Can be whatever. Can be surfing, can be freediving, can be climbing. Make your body feel safe. And you will see one day you will grow from inside out. So, lots of love. Greets from Tolo.